Hi, what's going on, y'all? I'm back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about undefeated fighters who just recently lost their O in the promotion this year. I don't know what it is specifically about 2025, but there have been a lot of undefeated prospects that have lost their O. All right. Now, I don't think every undefeated prospect should be considered equal. All right. I think some undefeated prospects, even though they lost, they still have a lot of potential. But some of these guys that just lost recently, they're cooked. I don't know what else to say for them. So I'm gonna give you guys just my set of rankings as to how I would rate them. And without wasting any more time, we're gonna jump straight into the video. All right, first up, we got Clayton Carpenter. It's hard to say. Like Clayton Carpenter, he came in as a short notice fight against Tagir Ulanbekov at UFC 311. Now, Tagir Ulanbekov's pretty good. He is like top 10, top 11 ish. And outside of his loss with Tim Elliott, he's been looking relatively solid. Now, Clayton Carpenter did have a competitive fight with Tagir Ulanbekov, but I don't really know much else about Clayton Carpenter, to be honest. Maybe Clayton Carpenter, his style just matches up with Tagir's well because Clayton Carpenter is a primary grappler, and so is Tagir. So I'm gonna be interested to see how Carpenter is gonna look when he has a full training camp and when he's fighting someone else. All right, so I'm kind of interested, but right now it's a little bit hard to say as to how good Clayton Carpenter can be. All right, now up next we got Peyton Talbot. I see ranked potential in Peyton Talbot. Now he lost his fight to Howney Barcelos, and that was really bad. Johnny Barcelos just absolutely schooled him for 3 rounds straight in the grappling. But since that loss, Peyton Talbot has improved drastically in the grappling, and he handed Felipe Lima his own very fraud check. And I thought Felipe Lima was going to be a potential ranked contender by the end of this year. So fair play to Peyton Talbot. There's still some hype in Peyton Talbot. I do think there are still matchups where he's going to struggle, but I don't think it's going to be that hard to get into the bantamweight rankings right now. All right, a lot of guys outside the bantamweight rankings aren't looking the best. And if Amin Zahabi at any point can get into the bantamweight rankings, then I'm pretty sure that Peyton Talbot can. So it's gonna depend on whether or not Peyton Talbot gets nice matchups for like the next 2 fights. But I do think there's rank potential in Peyton Talbot. It's just a matter of where he's gonna end up in the rankings. All right, now up next we got Rinya Nakamura. I'm gonna say that Rinya Nakamura, he's outside the rankings. I think Rinya Nakamura is pretty good. He got a KO over Nathan Fletcher recently by toe punting him, so that was actually pretty sick. But the reason I can't really say he's ranked potential or anything above that is because he lost to Muin Gafurov, right? Muin Gafurov is garbage. I don't rate Muin Gafurov, so Rinya Nakamura losing to Muin Gafurov is a big red flag, but Nakamura looked pretty good outside of that, and he's looked improved since that fight against Muin Gafurov earlier this year. So I'm gonna say that Nakamura, there is like a chance he may end up in the top 20 of the bantamweight division. Maybe if he like fights like two, three more guys, he can end up in the rankings. I just don't see that much hope for him because again, you can't be losing to Muin Gafurov to the point where Muin Gafurov is styling on you on the feet. But other than that, though, he's looked pretty improved. All right, now up next we got Cody Steel. I think it's hard to say where Cody Steel is gonna end up. I did think he was pretty good right before entering the his first fight with Rongju. Now maybe Rongju's much improved, but again, Rongju's not gonna be near the lightweight rankings, so it's hard to say whether or not Cody Steel is gonna be anywhere in the rankings. Like I maybe like, but that's gonna be taking a while. I'd say like give him like 4 years to develop, and maybe we'll find him in the top 15 or challenging for a ranked spot. But yeah, Rongju kind of fraud checked Cody Steele pretty badly, and I don't think Rongju, as good as he is right now, like, and he's on a win streak, so that is good. I don't think Rongju's like ranked caliber at the moment. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see where Cody Steele is gonna end up, but I don't think he's gonna get in the rankings anytime soon. All right, now up next we got Sharon Magomedov. I think Sharon Magomedov's like a staple of like outside the rankings of the middleweight division. Like he'll win most of his unranked fights, but then he'll lose to anybody who's actually really good, right? And he might be able to get into the rankings, but you have to kind of favor matchups like Marvin Vittori, right? Outside of that, I don't really see him winning that many matchups. Like I think Abus Magomedov beats him. Abus Magomedov will probably ragdoll him onto the ground. I don't really know how Sarah Magomedov can get into the rankings right now because he's also having competitive fights with a lot of unranked fighters that are nowhere near the rankings. So I think Sharon Magomedov is gonna need like 3 more wins before like he's like considered rank potential. But he is a step above most of the unranked fighters of the middleweight division, so I'm gonna put him outside the rankings. And if he wins more fights, though, maybe he'll be ranked potential again in the near future. All right, now up next we got Dr. Nurgge. He's absolutely cooked. He came in as a 10-0 Kazakhstani prospect, and he fought Brenson Ribeiro, and Brenson Ribeiro absolutely schooled him on the ground. I don't know how that's possible. Right, Brenton Ribeiro hasn't really won a fight in the UFC outside of Dr. Nurgge. So it's kind of embarrassing that the undefeated 10-0 prospect lost to Brenton Ribeiro. And then right after that, Dr. Nurgge lost to Uran Saltibaliev. Yeah, no, he's pretty cooked at this point. And it's gotten to a point where like one more loss and Dr. Nurgge is probably going to get kicked out of the UFC. And be real, I don't know how he got in the UFC in the first place. Did he pad his record? I'm not really sure, but I don't really say anything special for him. And he's probably gonna get cut after his next fight. All right, now up next we got Koby Thickness. He fought Ilya Toporia's brother, Alexandra Toporia, at a UFC 312. It's hard to say. Like he did show me some good things, all right? But again, the bantamweight division, I think there's a big substantial gap in terms of skills between like within the unranked sections. Like you have to kind of build up a little bit of a win streak to get into the rankings. Like once you get a ranked opponent, I think it's very easy to get in. It's just that I don't think Colby Thickness is necessarily going to be able to build that big of a win streak. Like, but then again, he didn't look that bad against Alexandra Topuria, and that was kind of on short notice. So I think Colby Thickness, if he gets the right matchups, I can potentially see him getting someone who's like just outside the rankings. But right now, it's hard to say whether or not he's going to get multiple fights in a row. At best, I can see him as like a 50-50 fighter, but I don't know about anything further up because he hasn't really fought. And so far, I haven't really seen anything exceptional from Colby Thickness. All right, now up next we got Danny Barlow. Yeah, there's nothing special about Danny Barlow. Now, there was a time where Danny Barlow was looked at as like a welterweight prospect, but I think that time's passed, and it's because he looked very iffy in his last 2 fights. His last fight against Sam Patterson, he got knocked out cold in the first round, and Danny Barlow was kind of looked at as the favorite in that fight. So that kind of raised some flags. And even before then, though, he didn't really look all that good against like Nikolai Veretnikov, who was basically a welterweight tomato can. Uh, Danny Barlow went to a life or death split decision with Veretnikov or whoever that name is. So Danny Barlow, at one point, he was good. All right, I remember when he got a knockout over Josh Quinlan. In hindsight, Josh Quinlan is dog shit, so it's not really much to write about with that win. And he hasn't really looked impressive in all of his other fights in the UFC. So although there was a time where Danny Barlow was looked at as a special prospect, I think that time's passed, and I don't really think he's gonna be like a ranked contender anytime soon. All right, now up next we got Jin Matsumoto. I think Jin Matsumoto's can be ranked potential in the future. Like he lost to Rob Font on short notice, but that was a very competitive fight, and he did show me some good things, like being able to hustle for takedowns and just being able to pressure Rob Font up against the fence multiple times. And outside of that loss to Rob Font, he won every single other fight. And although he hasn't looked the best in a lot of those fights, he's consistently winning. So I think Gene Matsumoto, give him like 1 or 2 more years, and I think he can find himself back into the rankings. I don't know, like he can be a Kyler Phillips. I'm pretty confident to say that Gene Matsumoto can fight like anyone like within the bottom half of the top 15 on short like on full training camp. So I do think that Gene Matsumoto, there is potential. I don't think he's top 5 contender though. I don't see like a X factor in Gene Matsumoto, but he is pretty good. And his record 17-1 for a reason. All right, now up next we got Mick Parkin. I understand that Mick Parkin's like ranked already, but like let's be real, heavyweight division isn't that good. But Mick Parkin, out of all the NPC blobs, he's actually pretty decent in terms of skill. So I do think that Mick Parkin's gonna be staying in the rankings for a while. I just don't see him getting past the top 10. Like he did lose to Marcin Tybura in a close fight. And Marcin Tybura is also one of these like top 8 to 10 gatekeepers. So I don't really see that big of a future for Mick Parkin over here, but he is better than most of the heavyweight division. So I guess like he has some sort of jujitsu. He's not completely helpless on the feet as well. So he is ranked potential, and I can see Mick Parkin staying in the rankings of the heavyweight division for quite some time. All right, now up next we got Daniel Marcos. Yeah, he's nothing special. Now, for someone who was just about to get into the rankings, I can't believe that Daniel Marcos was about to get into the rankings. All right, I can't believe he was undefeated at one point. Like I've never watched a Daniel Marcos fight going, "Oh wow, he actually looks really impressive." To me, Daniel Marcos, simply put, is a can crusher, and anytime he fights like some decent level competition, like he arguably loses, or he just clearly loses, like when he fought Montel Jackson. So Daniel Marcos, I don't really see anything special about him. All right, he doesn't really have that big of an output. He's not like he's an exceptional shot selector in terms of the striking. It's not like his grappling is all that great to write about. I just see a 50-50 fighter who somehow was able to build up a huge win streak in Daniel Marcos. So maybe he can change it. Maybe he can change that. Maybe he can prove me wrong. Like he is 26 years old after all, but I don't really see a future for Daniel Marcos, and at best he's probably going to be like a gatekeeper to the rankings for like quite some time. All right, now up next we got Bo Nickal. Yeah, he's completely cooked. Simply put, Bo Nickal. It's not because he lost to Rainer de Ritter, because Rainer de Ritter is actually really good. It's just the way he lost. Bo Nickel, if you guys didn't see, he just kind of crumpled up into the feeble position after Rainer threw like a couple of knees. And I think he even left the UFC now. I think he's doing his like pro wrestling stunt stuff or whatever. And I don't think he's going to be fighting anytime soon. So Bo Nickel, he's a quitter. He's completely cooked in terms of his UFC career, and the UFC will never be able to salvage whatever like hype Bo Nickel had in the first place. All right, now up next we got Mark Shonsky. Many of you probably don't know who this guy is, rightfully so. He lost to Markel Medeiros at UFC 316. I don't rate Markel Medeiros, and that's the only reason I'm gonna say that Mark Shonsky isn't anything special. But I'll be real, it's kind of hard to say because Mark Shonsky, he did take the fight on short notice, and he did win a lot of his fights in the regional career like pretty convincingly. So I don't know. Mark Chonsky, maybe he can be good. All right. I don't think Mark Chonsky is all that special because again, the guy he lost to Markel Medeiros, I don't think he's that special either. But Markel Medeiros is consistently winning fights. So maybe I'll look back at this list and maybe I'll raise him up. But for now, I'm gonna say that there's nothing special. I gotta see him fight more, and we're gonna have to see what's gonna happen once he fights on a full training camp. All right, now up next we got Omar Sai. Yeah, you're completely cooked. All right, he fought Alonzo Manyfield a couple of months back. And let's just say that was one of the worst fights I've ever watched. Omar Sai, yeah, there's nothing really good about what he does, right? He's just like a technical light heavyweight who just does everything like kind of shittingly, all right? There's nothing really special about Omar Sy, in my opinion. He's just not completely trash compared to most of the unranked section of the light heavyweight division. I mean, he lost one of the easiest matchups to get into the rankings in Alonzo Manyfield. So he's gonna need like what 3 or 4 more wins to get back into the rankings. Yeah, I don't really see a future for Omar Sy, and unless he actually gets those 3 or 4 wins, he's probably gonna be cooked, and there's not really gonna be much to write about. All right, now up next we got Hamdy Abdelwahab. Yeah, you bro, you're completely cooked. Right? Hamdy Abdelwahab, he's just not really good at anything. Right? How was he even undefeated in the first place? I have no idea. But he lost to Muhammad Usman. Muhammad Usman's also garbage. So yeah, you can't be losing to Muhammad Usman if you're like a legitimate heavyweight prospect. And also, Hamdi Abdelwahab, he gasses out after the first 5 minutes, right? He's not really any sort of special talent. Or it's like, oh, he can get a one punch knockout. Or like, oh, he's got really good wrestling, and most heavyweights can't wrestle. Like, Hamdi Abdelwahab, it's a miracle that he was like 6-0 in the first place. I even thought he lost his last fight to Jamal close right before he fought Muhammad Usman. And yeah, Hamdi Abdelwahab, yeah, I don't know how he's ranked. I don't know how he was about to be ranked in the first place, but yeah, he's just not good. All right, now up next we got Haider Emil. I think Haider Emil is gonna be like a mainstay in the unranked sections of the featherweight division. Like Haider Emil is very fun, and although he lost to Jose Delgado, I think Jose Delgado can be potentially ranked in the future. So I don't really put that on Haider Emil that much. And also, Haider Emil, unless you have one punch knockout power, he's very hard to put away, and he's very tough. So I love Haider Emil. Right, I don't think he's gonna be ranked. I do think has a lot of holes in his defense in general, but he's a very fun guy to watch, and he can fight a good fight against like a decently high level competition, and I can see him winning some of those fights. So Haider Emil, although he's not going to be ranked, he's very fun to watch. All right, now up next we got Hansung Park. Now I do want to put Hansung Park in the top 5 future contenders, but I don't know. Right now, I'm gonna say he's ranked potential. Like he has looked really good against like the bottom level competition of the flyweight division, like Carlos Hernandez. He did lose to Tatsuro Taira though, but that was short notice. And there's no doubt in my mind that Hyunsung Park can be ranked in the future. I fully believe he'll beat Bruno Silva later in October, but it's very hard right now. And if he does beat Bruno Silva pretty easily, then I'll put him right up here. But for now, it's gonna be very hard because I don't really think Hyunsung Park is gonna be able to get into the top 5 because the top 5 is right now, especially, it's very hard to get into. All right, now up next we got Wallaby Adirus. All right, this guy fought on the last pay-per-view for the finale of Tough for the flyweight division. Nothing special about him. He came in as a 10-0 undefeated Kazakhstani prospect, but he just lost to Jose Medina. Jose Medina, like he got cut from the UFC. He's like he went 1-2 in the UFC before getting cut as well. So I don't know. I don't think really Idris is gonna do well in the UFC. Maybe he has a couple of wins, but I don't really think he's gonna get anywhere near the rankings. Like I can pick a lot of guys to beat Idris right now. So maybe if he goes on like a 4 fight win streak, maybe I'll put him up above like all these guys over here. But for now, I'm just gonna say that there's nothing really special to look for in uh, Aladiri Idiris. And last but not least, we got Loner Kavanagh, who just lost to Charles Johnson. All right, I think low key losing to Charles Johnson is a canon event for any top 5 future contender. Loney Kavanagh, all right, he's looked very impressive in a lot of his fights. All right, against the fight with Felipe dos Santos. It was very close, but Kavanagh gritted down, and he was able to showcase a lot of his tools in that fight. And against Jose Ochoa, Jose Ochoa turns out to be a very elite level striker who's just outside the rankings, and he had a close fight with Hansung Park, who's like currently number 8 in the division. And Looney Kavanagh, although he lost to Charles Johnson, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated fighters in the UFC right now. So I don't mind that loss that much, and I think Looney Kavanagh can come back. He'll like learn a lot from his loss to Charles Johnson, and just like Joshua Van, I can see a similar storyline for him where he goes on like a 4 or 5 fight win streak and potentially find himself within the top 5 of the flyweight division in the future. Now, again, I said this for Hansung Park, the flyweight division is incredibly hard to get into. But I think Looney Kavanagh is going to have an easier time to get into the top 5 of the division. That's the only reason I'm going to put him above Hyunsung Park right now. Yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. Leave a comment down below what you guys thought about this list. But other than that, though, make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.